Hello everyone, my name is Arlene. Welcome to my video channel. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the Reno, Nevada area, and my channel is on making paper crafting projects. So mostly cards, but I also have some 3D projects as well as scrapbook pages. Today's project is going to be made using the Seaside View. This is a Stampin' Up! Set of 6, and I really like it because it reminds me of the Oregon coast. When we go with our family every year on vacation, and we like to get out and relax, and that's what this stamp set reminds me of, and that's what it's all about. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to bring you back to my crafting table and we'll get started. For today's project, I'm going to be using the Seaside View stamp set. This is a set of 6, but I will be focusing on the largest stamp here as well as one of the sentiments. For cardstock, for the base of the card, I'm using 1/2 of a sheet of the Pool Party, so it's 8.5 by 11, that's cut in half and then scored down the middle and folded. And then to layer, I'm using a piece of crumb cake, and then using the rectangle dies. I've used 2 of the rectangle dies here. I cut out a piece out of the basic white in one rectangle, and then the smaller rectangle is another piece of Pool Party. So the piece of crumb cake, I went ahead and ran through my embossing folder. This is the Old World Paper 3D embossing folder. I ran it through there, and so it looks like this for the layering part. So I'm starting out with the piece of crumb cake that I have ran through the embossing folder, and taking a blending brush and some of the just ink from, this is the same color, so it's crumb cake, and I'm just going to take a little bit of it here and then just start working on my scrap paper outside, and then work from the outside edges in. And I'm giving it a very light look. I'm just trying to catch some of that ink on the part that has been embossed, so it gives it a little bit more of an antique, and it also helps those that embossing folder, the embossing parts, to show up a little bit more on my paper. And this is because I'm going to be layering it, so I do want to have just a little bit more depth to it, and this is what will help it. Okay, so I think this is about where I want it. Not a lot, but it does have a difference between with nothing on it and then just a little bit. You can always put more on there, but for this card, I just want a soft look. The next piece of cardstock that I'm going to be stamping on is that little piece of basic white that I have already die cut out of the rectangle die. And then I'm using this largest stamp here that is in the stamp set. It is the 2 chairs with the backdrop of the ocean. Well, I'm assuming the ocean. I guess it could be a lake, but and I'm just going to stamp that in the Tuxedo Memento Black ink. You've got a really pretty stamp there. Look at that image, just beautiful. I'm relaxing already. And since we have our stamps out already, I am going to go ahead and stamp that sentiment. This is the one that says, "Hope you have a relaxing day." And I've cut a piece out in the smaller one in Pool Party. And that's just going to go right here. Okay, and I'm setting this sentiment aside. I'm going to be adding some color onto the piece of basic white cardstock that we've stamped that pretty image on. And I'm going to be using a variety of colors. So I've got the Pool Party. I grabbed Flirty Flamingo, Pacific Point, and Pear Pizzazz. Not sure if I'm using all of them, but I figured I'm going to just have them all out just in case. And I'm going to add color with my blending brush. Now these blending brushes are just lots and lots of little fine bristles, very, very soft. And you can wash these in between, which I need to do, as you can see, but it will stain. It will stain the blending brush, but it doesn't harm it in any way. It still works just fine. So this is the Pool Party. So I'm thinking I'm just going to slowly go around where the water is, okay? Notice I am starting out from the outside onto my scrap paper, and I'm working my way in, just very, very soft. And it's not going to be precise. This type of technique is not, you're not going to be able to get like precise like you could with maybe the Stampin' blends, but it's just going to be a really soft look. It's kind of the water there. Okay. And then I also brought crumb cake out, which I think is, I'm going to be using that on the lower edges there. Got Pear Pizzazz, and that's going to be for the bushes here. Again, just very soft. And over on the other side, got this greenery here. Okay. And I think I'll take my Flirty Flamingo. You know what? Actually, let's go with the crumb cake. All right, and this is just going to go where the deck is. Last year we went on vacation in Oregon, and we have a house that we love. We've rented it more than once, and it has a beautiful upstairs deck. And it's just right where the sun beats down on it, but you don't get a lot of the wind. Perfect. And we had perfect weather too, so it was really nice. Go here. A little bit of the chairs here. Okay. And then I'm going to go in with the Flirty Flamingo and just add some color where I want to. No right or wrong here, really. Get the pot right here, add a little splash of this color, and right here in the middle, and again on the sides a little bit. Okay. All right, and then we've got the Pacific Point. And I thought this might be good for, we'll see, it might be a little bit dark, but I wanted to get a nice brighter blue in for part of the sky. Right here. And then I also thought maybe right there in the middle, just a little bit of splash there. Okay. Okay, now we're ready to put our card together. So I'm bringing back the card base. I've got the part that we have stamped and colored in, and then I have the embossed layer that's made with the crumb cake, and then I have the sentiment in my trusty ATG gun, and of course my Stampin' Dimensionals. Gotta love those. Probably need some scissors too as well. Okay, so I am going to also bring in some of this ribbon. This is from the Playful Pets, and it comes in a combo. And I'm just going to double it up here. About like this. Probably have some extra, but that's all good. And then what I want to do is just make a square knot right here. So I have it doubled, and then with each end, this is where I make the square knot. Okay. Like that. So that square knot reminds me of, you know, those little nautical knots that they have that you see. So, and I'm just going to cut this. So this is going to go about I'd say almost halfway. Okay, so you can see that I went ahead, looped it, cut it, but it's not halfway, and I'll show you why here in just a minute. I want it to be not quite centered. And then I'm going to put my card together. I'm just going to center that right here. And I'm going to pop up with the Stampin' Dimensionals my sentiment that I've trimmed out of with my pool party. And I'm going to position this, doing it the cheater way here, just grabbing a couple pieces of tape, and want to make sure that, actually, let's cut this first. I have an idea of what I want to do with it. Nothing like ideas, just spur of the moment, right? So this does tend to fray, but this can also work to our advantage. So I'm going to take that after I've made the knot and just untwist these and separate them so it does look frayed, and that's the look that I want. Do you guys remember, this reminds me of shoelaces a long time ago, and when you had them frayed or you lost that little plastic piece because we didn't tie them like we were supposed to and they would get out. Anyway, I remember, I think it was my dad that used to take a match to it and he'd light it so that it would kind of like melt together. Anybody else remember that, or just me? I'm going to trim the back a little bit here. So just to help with the bulk on the underside of this card. Okay. And then we've got bringing it through the back. So make sure I get it where I want it to be. Put another piece of tape there. I'll add just an extra one. There we go. Okay, let's add some glue on this and we'll place it onto our card. The right direction. Oh goodness. Okay, there we go. And what a fun card that is. And you can see that there. Now you can also do a matching envelope if you want to, using the same technique. And so what I have done here is I have just actually used the blending brush and just added several colors onto the envelope like this, and then just taking another stamp, just a smaller one. It's the single chair here. I'm just going to stamp that right there. So that's just kind of some random blending just with the stamp over it, and it still looks beautiful, and it still makes me want to go to the beach. And I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. I certainly had a lot of fun making it. Thank you so much, and if you like it, please press like and subscribe to see more videos like this. Thanks, and have a great day. Bye.